thank you very much for watching these videos. Thank you very much for helping me spread the awareness of emotional abuse. This video is very just quickly on other issues, other effects that might compound our reasons and the direction that we go into in terms of becoming victims. So other reasons we get into these abusive relationships, other contributory factors. I can't say that. Thank you. I just thought I'd mention it because it's I've been dealing with it recently, and I think it's very interesting. It's something that's relatively new to me, and it's like once you read it, it goes, oh, it makes sense. So, just like that. So it might be interesting for some of you in terms of making sense of the patterns of your past and putting the pieces together to go, okay, that's what I've been doing, that's why I've been doing it, and this is how I'm going to change, so what the future looks like. I help people that contact me very much in terms of making sense of your past, to see why you get into these relationships. And then obviously you can't change the other person, the abuser, but you can change yourself, and it's all about development. But you need to see what you the patterns first, and once you see it, you can't not see it. So yeah, the two things I want to introduce you to, perhaps you know about them already, but if you don't, then I think they can be very useful. Love addiction and abandonment issues. Very common with victims of abuse, because those are the part of the magnetic attraction, the field, the invisible force fields that keep us together in sync with those abusive people. And I'm by no means the expert on them, but what I'm going to do is invite you to Google them. Go and search, or what other search engines are available. Go and have a look. Go and search up love addiction and abandonment issues. So those two things are just two contributory factors that could be evident in your life. Saw a very interesting program recently where they proved that about 10% of the population have a part of I don't know where it is actually, in the centre, part of our brains that are different for 10% of the population, where we're more susceptible to addiction, be that drugs, alcohol, sex addiction, also love addiction. So any, when people used to say to me, I've got an addictive personality, I used to take it with a bit of pinch of salt, but that proved me wrong. That we have this 10% of the population have this slightly different area of our brain that's slightly enlarged, which makes us more susceptible to an addictive personality. So addictions to any substance, anything like that, but also in terms of intensity of how we focus on it. So have a little search of love addiction, because somebody that's a victim and have tendencies of love addiction will absolutely stick themselves to a certain pattern, but can be an abusive one as well. So that might be interesting in terms of for some of you. The second one, abandonment issues, very common, unfortunately, that I see with people. Issues from the past coming and surfacing in terms of patterns for their future and their present. And abandonment issues are very common because of emotionally having been abandoned, not developed, or more severe or obvious interventions, or lack of interventions, lack of support, parents are abandoning, all sorts of issues. Go and search it up yourself. But that can impact so that you, as a victim, set up that sort of environment, even though you don't want it. Because it's been in your past, you create it into your future in your subconscious mind. However, these things are there. Go and search it, go and look at it, find it, understand it. You might have a bit of, oh my lord, that's me, that's my situation, in which case, great, it's given you a label and understanding to be able to go further into it, to find more resources on it, to look into it, and then attach what you're doing to that understanding to be able to change it. And that's where it's useful, that's where it's most useful. All these labels, victim, abuser, they're just labels for our understanding, and then we can tackle them with that knowledge, which is great. Very useful. It's a lever to our understanding and our changing. So you might see something in there that makes you go, okay, I see certain elements, but that's not really me, but okay, and you'll come to a central point of where you are. That's great. So use these two things perhaps to help further your knowledge and your understanding of where these patterns maybe continue and where they operate from, and it will be inside there. If it's not of relevance to you, then good. Woohoo! If it is, that could be good too. Yeah, invite you to look at those two things. So love addiction and abandonment issues. Very common for abused people, victims of abuse, where there's elements, I think, in evidence with a lot. There we go. So endeth the lesson. Thank you very much. I just thought I'd be interested to share that one. So be interested in your comments and feedback on that and what you find, and steerage on that. You know, let me know what you think and any additional other resources you come across that are useful. Many thanks. Please continue to share, rate, whatever else you do to help me raise the awareness of emotional abuse, and do contact me for any Skype sessions if you want further working through on issues to help me change stuff for you and maybe bring that stuff further forward. Okay, many thanks, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Last night I was laying down, I heard Mama and Papa talking. I heard Papa tell Mama, and then I heard Mama got up and she told Papa. Well, Mama told Papa about something she heard. I said, look here, Mama, don't believe a word. We're gonna boogie. We're gonna boogie. Just break the day.